Can you believe it has been 3 years since Will Smith had to apologise on Instagram for slapping Chris Rock live on stage at the Oscars? What a day that was. But the roots of what seemed like an isolated incident can be traced back to 2016. If you don't know what I'm on about, let me catch you up. So, it's 2022. It's the Oscars. Chris Rock is hosting, and whilst announcing the nominees for Best Documentary Feature, he makes a terrible joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. He said, "Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, alright?" This was in reference to her shaved head. She had lost her hair due to alopecia, likely caused by stress. Her husband, Will Smith, was sat next to her, and he is initially seen laughing whilst Jada rolls her eyes. Next thing, Will is on stage delivering a nice sounding slap upon the left cheek of Chris, who, in fairness to him, takes it like an absolute champ. He makes a joke about how it's going to be the greatest night in the history of television, which it kind of was, whilst Will heckles with, "Keep my wife's name out of your jeffing mouth." Interestingly, Smith wasn't removed from the venue. They asked him to leave, he said no, so they just let him stay. I didn't know that was an option. He collected his Oscar for Best Actor for his performance in King Richard 40 minutes later. And he did apologise in his acceptance speech to everyone but Chris Rock. Apparently, the LAPD were on standby, but Chris refused to press charges, which I do think was wise. So the following day, Will apologised to Chris on Instagram, but he didn't apologise personally. Chris had already apologised to Jada during the ceremony, pretty much the second that he could do. And it's incredible that on the whole, in the reporting of this story, Jada seemed entirely overlooked. It was like she wasn't involved in the incident at all. In an interview with People magazine in 2023, Jada said, "I mean, that's what comedians do. I would just have to say that I am not really here to make any judgment on how people decide to express themselves and express their art. I'll say that several times I've had my feelings hurt, for sure. I've had my feelings hurt a lot by Chris. But at the end of the day, too, being in the spotlight, it comes with the territory." She had initially thought that the dig had come due to what had happened the last time that Chris hosted the Oscars in 2016. Now, Jada had posted heavily on Twitter, which was a popular medium at the time, encouraging people to boycott the Oscars with the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite. This was because for the second year in a row, all 20 nominees for the acting awards went to white actors. I think some offence had been caused on Chris's behalf, but I mean, not too much, because he did ask her out on a date when he thought that she and Will Smith were due to get a divorce. It turns out that they hadn't, and everyone was red-faced. But then, following the 2022 incident, Will and Jada revealed that they had actually been separated since 2016. The drama is tedious. So, what was this slappy fallout then? Well, it seems to have been water under the bridge for all concerned. Will had to resign from the Academy, and he's not allowed to attend any of their events for the next 10 years. His Netflix deal for the sequel of his film Bright was also cancelled. Jada's memoir, Worthy, which came out the following year, seemed to do quite well, and Chris got some new bits for his Netflix special out of it. So, I might be opening a bit of a can of worms now here, so please be civil, but what do you think of what happened here? Was anybody in the right? I'm undecided, because personally, I think that you should be allowed to joke about anything. But in having that right, you also have to deal with other people's reactions to what you say, especially if you're being mean. That being said, no one should be assaulted at work, and I think Will should have probably known better. I do feel that Will's slap was performative toxic masculinity, where he felt like he'd be looked down upon for not defending his woman's honour. Oh, and it was Summer of Soul that won Best Documentary Feature. It was about a 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival. Anyway, thank you for watching. Why not subscribe? And I'll see you tomorrow.